What's going down, guys? Kian here from Super Mommy Academy, giving you a quick video on what should I be eating after I train. So it's actually a video I've probably haven't made yet for you awesome mammies out there. So I've got that question from Fiona in Super Mommy Academy on Monday night. What should I be eating after I train? So it's a very legitimate question, and there's a lot of confusion around the topic of what should I be eating, and generally speaking most people tend to eat too much of the wrong thing, or they eat too quickly, or they eat far too late after they finish a training session. So you have to understand, when you train, you're creating an acidic environment. Yes, so you're actually increasing your stress hormone cortisol when you train, and you want that elevated as you approach your weight training session. You increase the acidity in your muscle tissue, so you create more lactic acid. When you create that burn in your muscles, you're going to release more growth hormone, which will help you burn more body fat. With your incomplete rests and your compound movements of stuff based around your squats, your push-ups, your planks, your lunges, all the kind of stuff we do at Super Mommy Academy. So that's definitely what you want to be aiming for when you train. Before you work out is pretty crucial for what you should be eating, and post-workout is just as crucial what you should be eating as well. So let's just focus on what you have after you work out. You've depleted glycogen levels in your muscles, so that's stored glucose in your muscle tissue from the carbohydrates in your nutrition plan. So most people who kind of sit around all day and lead sedentary lifestyles have overspilled their glycogen storage function, and they start to overspill that and store all their excess carbohydrates as fat, so that you end up getting fatter essentially by moving less and eating the same amount of food. So for most people, carbohydrates don't really work for them in most of your meals, because you've overspilled your storage capacity. So basically you're just going to end up increasing your fat cells in the body, which isn't a good thing for you. So I don't advocate a low carb diet. I would advocate some small amount of carbohydrates in your post workout meal for the mammies to keep your energy levels up, because you do need them when you're training hard. If you don't have them, then your training quality is affected, and your sleep and your hormonal balancing act as well. You do require some carbohydrates to balance your estrogen levels and cortisol levels, believe it or not. So after you work out, after I've spoke about me scientific rant there, you should be going for a lean source of protein, a small amount of carbohydrates, and some alkalizing greens. So that's really the carbohydrate source could come from your quinoa, your brown basmati rice, a sweet potato, or some porridge oats, or some fruit. So it could be your berries or a banana or something like that. Include that with your protein source. It could be eggs, it could be chicken, it could be beef, it could be turkey, it could be salmon, it could be fish, any of those. And then you have your green vegetables with that to obviously counteract the inflammation and acidity of your workout in your green vegetables. So stuff like your spinach, your asparagus, your bok choy, your Brussels sprouts, your tender stem broccoli, all that kind of stuff, which is really good for flushing out excess estrogens in the body as well, especially for the females if you store more fat around your legs and your tummy and your arms. But that's the main thing. That's where you should be placing carbs in your training routine, is the post-workout window, because that's where your muscles are like sponges, and they'll pretty much soak up all the excess glucose from your carbohydrates when you eat them post-workout. Generally about 45 minutes to an hour after you train is when you should be shooting for that as well. And it's going to help you recover quicker, and you won't be as sore if you just avoid having carbs with your protein and your green vegetables as well in your post-workout meal. I've found from experience that most women tend to just have a banana before they work out, and all that's going to happen is you're just spiking insulin. You'll get a blood sugar roller coaster shoot up. You'll feel quite lethargic and feel very sleepy before you work out, and that's not something you want as well. So if it is the case you're running out of the house and it's 10 or 15 minutes before you come down to Super Mammy Academy, have a handful of nuts with some berries or something like that. So some healthy fats with some antioxidants is quite good as well, or some protein as well if you can get that into you. So it could be, it could be 1 or 2 hard-boiled eggs with a handful of berries or something like that. If you're running literally 20 minutes out the door, if it's an hour and a half to 2 hours before you train, the principles don't change. So it's going to be your lean protein with your green vegetables and your healthy fats from like your avocado, your egg yolks, your seeds, your nuts, your coconut oil, all that kind of stuff. So I hope that makes sense. So instead of just having a banana by itself 5 minutes after a workout, give yourself at least 45 minutes. Have your lean protein with your green vegetables, and you can have your carbohydrate source in that post-workout window. Every other meal should really be just your lean protein, your greens, and your fats. And you can still have a little bit of carbs if your energy levels are still quite low. But make sure you balance out the protein with the carbs, because you'll just feel sleepy all the time and tired and bloated. So I hope that answers your question as to what you should eat after your workout and how you should be planning it out and spacing it out. But if you eat like that, you'll get super awesome results. You'll start to feel leaner. You won't have that bloated beach ball effect in your stomach as well, which does come hand to hand with just having carbs all the time, because it'd be quite inflammatory as well. And don't forget, gluten is the Latin for glue, so that kind of swells out and expands in your stomach. So make sure your carb sources are coming from clean carbohydrates back into your sweet potatoes, your quinoa, your brown rice, and your fruits as well, but in small amounts. Aim for your berries and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it for today's video. So if you like that, share it with your friends who you know are in need of this awesome kick-ass information to transform their worn-out mummy figure into a badass mom who has complete control of her life and is calm in the chaos of what she deals with on a daily basis. That's pretty much it for today. I hope you loved it. I did. I hope you enjoyed that ride, because I did. And that's pretty much it. Pay attention to my next video. Like and share. If you have any questions at all, personal message me and I'll get back to you. And have an awesome day. Goodbye.